What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. And some new ESports Boxing Club gameplay has just dropped, literally like an hour or so ago. I posted my video on it like 40-50 minutes ago, my live reaction, and I always do this. I'll be giving my opinions on the gameplay in the next video, but for now, we're going to be focused on everything you might have missed in the new ESBC gameplay. So as always, I watch this 2, 3, 4 times. I break it down increment by increment. I watch it in slow motion. I just enjoy doing it. I'm just a nerd for it. I really am. Honestly, I don't know why I do it, but I just fucking love it. I'm just so fucking nerdy for it. Honestly. But anyways, let's get into it. Everything you guys might have missed in this new ESBC gameplay. Now, right off the bounce with the Fury and Wilder moving around, you know, actually fighting this time. Finally, we've got to see some fucking fighting instead of just a lot moving around. We see, you know, the new health body stamina bars. We see all those, as well as the beats per minute meter down the bottom, as well as the English and American flag, as well as a little figurine down the bottom, which I can't quite figure out. Now, if you notice next to where it says Fury and Wilder, there's a little man. Now, I didn't know if that was like stance or I don't know what that was. Maybe that means they're standing and then we're taking a knee. That changes to a little knee icon. When they're laying down, it changes. I don't know. We've obviously got the little body, you know, the centre head, the left and the right head, the left and right of the body, the centre body, stamina bar, beats per minute, like I said, the flag, the name, everything like that. As well as, obviously, you know, we see the new thing in the middle with the round 2 of 12 or, you know, 6 of 12, whatever it may be. 2 minutes in, 3 minutes in, you know, 1 minute in, whatever. So with all of that new, feels newer. The flags look more realistic. Definitely an upgrade from what we saw previously. Now, if we look at both fighters' hands when moving, Wilder is much more stable. You know, hands there. He's ready to let off that big shot. He's ready to let it off. Fury is much more... Well, Fury, really. He's moving around like he does in real life. Those hands are moving. Those hands are rotating. You can sometimes see him. There's one. I'm going to try and find the one specific clip. I found it, but then I keep losing it. Is he kind of touches his nose during it, but he's always moving those hands like he does in real life. He's not a stable fighter like that. He always looks like he's on fucking crack, and he's just shaking around, like moving his hands like a lunatic, because you never know where that shot's coming from. Hands moving, bing. Hands moving, bing. And they've captured that brilliantly, absolutely fucking brilliantly. And not only that, but in this first clip we can also see that the gloves obviously are both different, both plain gloves. However, one thing you'll notice is while Wilder has the lighter gold with the blue tape around it, Fury has the green and gold gloves. You can see the gold in the underneath, but he has the Empire Pro tape on it. Now, one thing I always see people saying is, oh, we want to have different tapes. We want to have different tapes, different coloured tapes. Here, you're going to be able to. Clearly blue, you're also going to be able to have red, obviously, if there's blue. And then we've got the Empire Pro tape. Now, Empire Pro tape also do a black tape. So I wonder if you'll be able to get the white and the black as well. But for now, we see the 2 different gloves and the 2 different tapes, which is really cool. And like I said, if we just watch it a few more times, we can see the way Fury's moving much more hunched over, hands are much more all over the place, not really set on blocking, just moving how he feels is right, you know, just you know, he's an awkward mover. Wilder's very much more textbook with his movement. You know, he's got, he kind of got a textbook block almost, whereas Fury's just like, he don't give a fuck, man. He's like ready to be punched in the head at any moment, and they've captured that brilliantly here with the way Fury's moving back, leaning out the way of those shots, moving his arms, dropping to his side, moving his shoulders brilliantly, dropping his head. It's just perfect. Now, there's not too much to show in this this inside fighting part they shoot between Rocky Marciano and Joe Louis, other than the fact that, well, Joe Louis has now been shown. Obviously, that's 3 new fighters that we've seen right off the bat. Wilder, Fury, and Joe Louis. We hadn't seen their models before, at least not in gameplay action. We see the old school gloves from these two, you know, being old school fighters. We see their old school gloves. Everything else has pretty much stayed the same. Obviously, it's got the black and white filter on it, but in terms of gameplay, there's nothing here to really note. You know, those guys are just on the inside fighting. They've got the short little stubby hooks, the short little stubby uppercuts, because they're on the inside. They're not throwing those big leaping, you know, Tekken uppercuts, you know, fucking Hadouken and flying in the air. They're just little short boom boom uppercuts on the inside, which is brilliant. Yes, they're not as powerful. The hooks are super snappy. I feel like they need to slow them down slightly because they look almost too fast for fighting on the inside. But all in all, you know, we see snappy hooks, snappy uppercuts. I might be wrong, you know, Rocky Marciano might have thrown a rapid hook like that. But for me, it's just a little bit fast. But I'm going to give my opinions on the gameplay another time. I just wanted to get that out there. But all in all, the inside fighting looks real nice. The way they're, you know, there's no invisible wall here. You noticing that? There's no invisible wall. They are pushing to each other. Their gloves are not only touching each other's gloves, the gloves are touching each other's foreheads, you know, so when they're away, they're bobbing, the gloves are almost like slotting in with one another, and they're waiting, boom, boom, and then blocking again. And it's just brilliant. There's no invisible wall here, which is what I love. I hate in these fighting games, UFC and Fight Night and whatever else, where there's an invisible wall where you can't really get on the inside and really, you know, push on your opponent and bully your opponent. I hate it. So this is brilliant. There's none of that. You can push on your opponent. You can collide with your opponent, and I think that is brilliant. We also see just a little thing there. When Rocky Marciano lets off that huge combination, we see his beats per minute meter be beeping a lot faster. While the number says 131 or 120 or whatever, it also, the little heart rate thing is going much, much quicker than Joe Lewis's. Just a little thing that I thought was, it's obvious that would happen, but just a little thing that I wanted to point out because I thought it was really cool. Now, I'm going to skip the Kell Brook announcement because it was Kell Brook. That's really cool. Another new fight that we didn't know, as well as another new model of a fighter we got to see. And we're going to jump to the Froch, or Froch. I always butcher his last name. I do apologise. Against Caleb Plant. Now, right off the start, this is one of my favourite clips for a variety of reasons. Right off the bounce, we can see that Plant is wearing Grant gloves. Grant is one of my all-time favourite brands. I love Cleto Rays. They're in the game, and Grant is now in the game. They didn't announce it. It's just how they show it. It's fucking awesome. So Plant is wearing Grant gloves, which is just fucking awesome. I know that I didn't see many people talking about it, so obviously, you know, this is something you might have missed, guys. And, you know, so the Grant gloves have been announced, kind of like this, I suppose, just out of nowhere, which is just absolutely awesome. So yeah, Plant is wearing them. Another thing I want to point out is while a lot of fighters we've seen are wearing plain shoes, we can see, I feel like this is a little kind of teaser here. Plant has got some actually colourful shoes on. He's wearing yellow and purple shoes, as well as the pink under the tape on his gloves, which I think just that little bit of colour shows that little bit of customization, as opposed to just the plain black and white, the plain black gloves, the plain gold gloves, whatever it may be. With Plant here, we're actually seeing, in my opinion, a full customized fighter here. You know, unique shorts, unique gloves, you know, that pink under the tape, unique shoes, everything like that. I think it's just brilliant there. The whole Plant model looks fantastic, and the shoes, the gloves, everything is just awesome. Now, again, we see that, you know, Plant's got the plain tape. Froch has got, or I'm just going to say Carl. No, I'm going to call it, no, I don't know. I don't want to call him. Has got the Empire Pro tape on instead of just the plain tape. Now, we see at one point they're fighting on the inside, and, you know, Plant is getting his shit rocked up, man. He's slipping, bing. He's getting all sorts, you know. And at one point, they collide to both throw a hook. So, obviously, Froch throws the left hook, and Plant throws the right hook. And we see, instead of some weird collision, we see Froch's hook land and Plant's hook just bounce off the arm. So, yeah, you're going to do some damage to the arm. But Carl has completely protected his head from that. It's bounced off his arm. He's still thrown his hook and connected. And I just think it's brilliant. And when they're fighting on the inside where we see Plant's back, we can also see where the pink has come from. The yellow and the pink is on the thumb of the Grant glove, which I just think is awesome. Also, they should probably tweak that size a little bit. It's a bit too big for the glove, personally. We can also see on Carl Froch's shorts that he has got the Empire Pro tape, the 1024 logo, the ESBC logo, the English flag on the back of one of the legs. All in all, a lot to dissect with this Carl Froch and Caleb Plant clip. There's a lot going on here. You know, Plant's getting his shit diced up. However, he looks fucking sick. You know, obviously we've got the Grant going on, like I said. There's a lot going on here, and all in all, the clip is just awesome. Now, to finish the clip, one thing I just want to point out is we see Caleb Plant throw a really nice and realistic combination here that really leaves Froch wide open for the straight to finish the clip at the end. Obviously, slowed down, the faces do make a little bit of a jelly effect, but all in all, the combination is really nice that he throws. Now we skip over to this part where we see Kell Brook and Arturo Gatti. Now, of course, both playing red gloves, Empire Pro tape, we don't need to go on about that. We see that Gatti has the cut under his eye. However, one thing that I'm noticing here right away is not only has he got the cut under his eye, he's got a swollen top lip. Now, we don't see that often in fighting games, if ever, really. When do we see swollen front, top lips, whatever, bottom lip, whatever? We don't see that often, guys. So for me, you know, they always go on about the damage and how the damage is realistic. Seeing something like a swollen top lip really shows us that they are being serious with it. Now we're going to skip ahead to this Kell Brook and Conor Benn clip here. There's a lot of gameplay that we've skipped over, but there's nothing that I'm really going to point out that's like absolutely mind-blowing because, you know, it's just good gameplay that we're seeing. So I'm going to talk more about that in my opinions video. We see here we've got Kell Brook and Conor Benn fighting, and Kell Brook throws a nasty body shot to the solar plex abdomen area that causes Conor Benn to crunch over, hands to his guard, and fall down to his knee. To his knee. Doesn't just fall over, doesn't collapse. He falls down to his fucking knee. That's all I've been wanting to see for months, guys. I've been wanting to see it for months. And the fact that he doesn't just fall to his knee and take a knee, he falls to his knee and he is still holding his stomach hunched over, head on the mat. That is Like, they have captured pain on a incredibly realistic level. The way, I mean, the second that shots land, he grits his teeth, holds his stomach, falls down, hands start to go, his right hand is on his stomach, his left hand goes towards the mat, his head goes towards the mat as well, and he is hunched over. And that is just fucking brilliant. I honestly cannot get over that. So now we go to, we saw Roy Jones Jr., funnily enough, in the gameplay a few months back in December, in this same gym with the windows and stuff in the mirror, so we're not going to go for it too much, but one thing we notice early here is when Wilder is throwing the bigger shots, his face actually changes. He has different facial expressions, which I think is brilliant. You know, he grits the teeth when he throws those big shots. Which is really good. Also, one thing that I want to point out here, we spoke about, you know, the posters in the background last time. We don't need to talk about it this time. But one thing I'm noticing is when he's shadowboxing in this ring here, there's a lot of lights set up, as if it's like an open workout thing, as if it was like part of your career and there's an open workout and, you know, the press come to set up some lights. That could just be a huge hunch and a big reach. But for me, you know, I feel like it's really, you know, they don't have to do that. Like, why are them lights there? That's just something I'm just thinking about. But, you know, we see his facial expression when he throws like lots of big shots. We see his kind of lip, you know, turn up as if he's really trying to put some grip behind those punches. And, you know, I just want to point that out. And then, you know, we see him, you know, open his mouth a bit more, you know, to take big breaths when he's throwing those big shots, like, you know, wasting his stamina. Now, one thing I want to point out here is when Fury is being harassed by Wilder and not getting hit, he tucks up. I mean, this is brilliant to me. You'll see here, he tucks up on the inside and really goes under the punches, then pulls back. Instead of just some shitty video game duck, you see him hands up, tucks up, head to the chest, so Wilder's shots go straight over him and he moves out of the way. It's not just some like shitty video game fight night duck. He tucks up, goes into the chest of his opponent, and he is out to safety. So he pivots round, tucks up in the chest, boom, and backs up, and he is absolutely fine. Now we see, you know, we're seeing a lot of Fury here, and Fury's definitely someone that catches your eyes for sure. Fury's moving in, you can really see, in the nicest way I'm going to say this, you can really see his spare fat move around on his stomach and his you know, and his pecs. You can really see it move around, which is brilliant. You know, realistic body movement is what we need. You know, instead of everyone just having a six pack, he's got that realistic body movement, those realistic jiggles, if you will. Now, one more thing I want to point out with this Wilder Fury thing a bit later in the video is here when Fury takes a few steps back, he steps back like Fury. And I know that sounds stupid. I know you're like, come on, Studdy, like, you can say something better than that. Like, that's some cheesy shit you've just said. But that is it, guys. That's it. That's what we want. We want to look at it and go, wow, Plant moves like Plant. Canelo moves like Canelo. And here, Fury moves like Fury. Those little step backs. It's not like a step back that we see. It's a little hippity-hoppity-hip step back. Hip hop step back. It's not just a perfect boxing step back that we're seeing. It's a little hip hop step back that he does, and we see that spare fat move around when he does his little hip hops. And because he's kind of hopping, that spare fat on his chest is moving around more than when he's just walking. And for me, you know, it's just it's things like that that really going to make or break the game, because the gameplay looks like it's definitely playable, it's definitely awesome, it's definitely something that we're all going to enjoy. So once the gameplay is good, people are saying that the gameplay needs to be good and it's sorted. That's the issue. Is people, you don't believe that. If you're someone that is put on Twitter, Instagram, wherever, Discord, whatever, saying as long as the gameplay is good, it'll be fine, you're a bullshitter and you know it. You know that no matter what happens, if the gameplay is perfect, people will go, well, where is the realistic body movement? Where is the hair movement? Where is, you know, the more in-depth career? Where is the more in-depth the way he takes a knee? Where is the more in-depth way they walk out to the ring? So things like this are important to the game. These realistic body jiggles, the hair jiggle, you know, hair movement, everything like that is so important to the game. But guys, from about 30-40 minutes of looking and writing stuff down, that is all I could see for little details. And in all honesty, I'm ignoring a lot of the gameplay because I want to focus on the real small details here. And I'll be giving my opinions on the gameplay in the next video. So as always, guys, I really hope you have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe down below. Let me know if you learned something here, and let me know if there was something I missed, maybe where you're like, hold on, Study, you missed this, I noticed this. I'm always open to learn, I'm always open to talk about it. I'm very excited for this game. I'm so excited for it. But I'm going to talk about more in my opinions video, but thank you as always for watching, guys. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.